Speaking of USAID, we got, oh my God, the other side of the coin. You know, one side of Dr. Fauci and the other side is Bill Gates. Bill Gates has been in my channel so many times that, well, I should have, I think I have a dedicated playlist only for my analysis on Bill Gates. But this one is especially evil. He went all out villain this time. Bill Gates just said on The View, yeah, that show, The View, that if Trump's administration defunds USAID, the next pandemic will have millions of deaths. This sounds like a threat, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Maybe this is a sensationalism, tabloidy headline. But let's see if he actually said that, because sometimes people's words are taken out of context. Let's hear it from the guy.
Mr. Gates, you also called Elon Musk's political influence abroad, quote, insane, along with another word we can't repeat here. But what's your take on his political access and influence here in America right now?
Well, Elon, his private sector work, has been very innovative, really fantastic. A lot of private sector people, when they...
For some reason, you know that Elon Musk and Bill Gates don't get very well together. Elon basically doesn't say anything about Bill Gates. Bill Gates says that, well, he's doing okay, but yeah, you have never heard of them cooperating on virtually anything. There's a reason why. I'm pretty sure that getting yourself attached, even remotely, to Bill Gates and his name, no, I'm not going to say to Bill Gates name, okay, that attached to Bill Gates, no, to his name, it's not gonna be good for your reputation. So that's one of the reasons. But Bill Gates at least says, okay, he's doing great with his commercial endeavors. Elon.
A lot of private sector people, when they get into government, they don't take the time necessarily to see what the good work is or why it's structured the way it is. So I'm a little worried.
So you do know. You're saying that you do know that the way that you have messed with the government, you have done your homework, Bill? Is that what you're saying? No? Or that's what you are implying?
Particularly with this USAID stuff. Mm-hmm. My foundation partners with USAID on nutrition and getting vaccines out. And, there's incredible people. They're not actually worms that work there.
Yeah. You remember that Elon Musk said, well, if an apple has a worm, you basically take the worm out and you still have the apple. But USAID has happened to be a ball of worms. Like there's no apple in there. It's just a ball of worms, and it has to be eradicated. So that's what he is implying.
Hopefully we'll get some of that work back in shape. In fact, if we don't, you could have literally millions of deaths. So
millions of deaths. You can have millions of deaths.
Yeah. With aid, people think, wow, how much do we give these countries? As you said, it's less than 1%. People think it's 5% and it should be 2%, but it's actually under 1%. Yeah.
Okay, since it's only 1%, that it's okay to be wasting your money on these projects. And the transgender comic books to Peru, it's just $32,000. That is essentially nothing. But his words was actually, he was not talking about the next pandemic. So there was that's the kind of things that you have to be careful with. What are his words, his actual words? But he's saying that effectively he's trying to gaslight everyone, or at least the people that still listen to him, that eliminating all these USAID programs are going to effectively kill millions of people. Let's hear that again, just in case.
So, hopefully we'll get some of that work back in shape. In fact, if we don't, you could have literally millions of deaths.
So if all these programs that that we have known about, if those programs are not brought back in shape, I don't know what does he mean by that. As in, if you have approved, for example, a transgender opera in Colombia, how exactly do you put that back in shape? How do you? There's gonna be maybe there's gonna be a transgender YouTube channel now, or how do you put something back in shape that has no shape in the first place? And he's talking about, of course, nutrition and vaccines. How about, Bill? How about in the terms of nutrition, we make sure that the people in the United States have easy access to, well, healthy food in the first place. Haven't you thought about this? I don't know. It's my question, because that's something that RFK Jr. has been trying to push, like make America healthy again. You talk about all these countries that need help with nutrition and help with vaccines or health or preventing diseases. Why don't you start with the United States? Why USAID, this developing of projects in other countries that lacks total transparency and what was at discretion of the CIA, which it in itself, it's what makes it evil. We're not saying that if you can help other countries, if you can help your neighbors, and you have the opportunity to do so, well, maybe you find it morally correct to do that. But one, it has to be something that they can actually do to help themselves. It's not like you are going to sustain a nation with constant, and they can never get from that, because that is a bit suspicious, right? So many ways to help nations so they can sustain themselves, but then you keep sending aid to these nations and it never stops. Why? What are the interests that they don't get to thrive? It's obvious that if you send aid to a nation for 10 years and the nation is in the same shape as 10 years ago, it's not working. So all these questions are valid, and are the questions that can dismantle these manipulation arguments. Oh, this is for nutrition in these countries. Oh, this is for a vaccine in these countries. Again, have you heard about the healthcare in the United States? How, let's say, complicated can it be? Maybe, I don't know, there can be initiatives inside the United States to make America healthy again. And not only the healthcare, because that is another problem that we are seeing in European countries. That is not the free healthcare for all, as Bernie Sanders would say, but the issue is, how can people be responsible, like taking care of their own health and eating healthy? There's a lot of things in here, but yeah, that must start from each country. If another country doesn't want to do that, that is not responsible of my country of doing it. If my neighbor doesn't want to help himself, I would just waste time, energy, and money trying to help, and even there will be a resistance and maybe attacks just for helping somebody that doesn't want to get help and doesn't want to thrive. But I would like to know what do you think about this in the comments. This is a fascinating topic because, yes, sometimes people need help. Remember to download my free 100 body language tips in the description of this video, and you will be subscribed to my free and awesome emails as well.